A good late afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Holly and you're watching Kalkine TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. Well, there's another action-packed week which has begun, and there's no better way to wind down a Monday than with the latest market close commentary. The ASX 200 opened high today and traded at the highest it's been in about 5 weeks. Eventually, the index closed up, gaining 0.34% and set a new 20-day high. Over the last 5 days, it's gained 0.81% and is currently 2.51% off its 52-week high. On the sectoral front, 9 of 11 sectors ended higher, barring industrials and IT. Energy was the best performer, gaining 2.85% and rebounding from its recent decline. The top performer on the ASX pack was materials company Mineral Resources, up a staggering 9%. The company announced that operations at the Wodgina lithium mine would restart in the Pilbara region of WA. Meanwhile, Beach Energy was up 5.4%. Following suit was Ramelius and Unibail Rodamco Westfield, both up over 4%. Origin shares soared by nearly 4% after it announced that it was selling a small slice of its LNG business. On the flip side, though, Perpetual was the biggest laggard, sliding 5.3%. Close behind was Kogan.com, Nanosonics, Nearmap and Horizon Holdings. Let's have a look now at some stocks that grabbed investor attention. Well, base and precious metals explorer Eastern Metals has risen firmly on its debut on the ASX, rising in line with several other miners on the market today. At the close, the company was up 12.5% to 22.5 cents after listing at 20 cents a share. And ANZ has launched a $100 million takeover bid for ASX-listed microcap Cashrewards. The business lets members join a free club to receive some cash back on every purchase from partner retailers. The Cashrewards board unanimously recommends the deal, revealing just how building a profitable fintech is much harder than the current hype suggests. The ACCC has succeeded in its application for injunction to stop the sale of Healius-owned IVF business Adora to Virtus Health. The $45 million deal was planned to be completed on the 15th of October. And the regulator argued that the sale has the potential to lessen competition and possibly push up IVF prices. Healius traded up by 0.5% today, whereas Virtus dropped by 0.3%. And Woodside Petroleum is considering a $1 billion hydrogen plant in Western Australia, with construction to start in 2024, subject to a final investment decision. The phased development at the full capacity would be one of its largest of its kind globally and produce up to 1,500 tons of hydrogen a day in the form of ammonia and liquid hydrogen. Woodside shares were up more than 3% today, while furniture retailer Nick Scali sales for the first quarter of the new financial year has stayed in line with last year's, despite international shipping delays and lockdown troubles. At the annual meeting today, CEO Anthony Scali said that new orders placed in the quarter, which won't convert into real revenue until their completion next year, were down as 55% of the company's total store network was shut due to various lockdowns. Nick Scali shares traded in the green zone today. And all this as aged care provider Japara will be removed from the ASX on the 5th of November after the Catholic non-for-profit healthcare provider Calvary sealed its acquisition of the company. The deal sees Calvary buying all shares in the retirement home company at $1.40 per share, giving the business an enterprise value of $380 million. After Japara's delisting, Regis Healthcare and NCR Aged Care will be remaining in the pure-play aged care operators on the ASX. And meanwhile, power and gas giant Origin Energy shares traded up by over 2% today to a new 19-month high after it was announced that the selling of a small slice of its LNG business for $2.1 billion. The company has also been forced to pay $5 million in penalties for allegedly charging unlawful exit fees to more than 20,000 small businesses across Victoria. And Australian fuel supplier Viva Energy Group sales have collapsed in the September quarter, and statewide COVID-19 lockdowns across the state and New South Wales closed borders wiped out travel. However, the outlook for the remainder of the year is now looking brighter as both states commence the reopening plans in line with the national roadmap. And with that said, it's time now for a small break, but stay tuned because on the other side, I'll be right back with more trending market updates. Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
where the property market is headed next,
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly,
apart from tracking the daily market charter.
Be on top of the latest news and announcements
with Kalkine TV. Welcome back to the Market Close commentary on Kalkine TV. Asian stocks and US futures were steady on Monday as traders weighed inflation risks, China's outlook, and looming earnings reports from big tech firms. Meanwhile, equities dipped in Japan and were mixed in China, where the central bank boosted a daily liquidity injection and officials expanded a property tax trial. Turkey's lira slid to a record low after President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that 10 ambassadors, including from the US, Germany and France, were no longer welcome. Meanwhile, South Korea's Kospi index rose 0.4%, as Japan's Topix index fell 0.2% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng added 0.1%. All this as China's Shanghai Composite Index rose 0.4%, and beyond Asia, Wall Street occupied a choppy day of trading on Friday, with uneven finishes for the major stock indices. Losses for several large tech companies also weighed on the market. The S&P 500 slid 0.1%, extending its 7-day winning streak. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average notched 0.2% up, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite fell 0.8%. The crypto world now, and Bitcoin prices today surged while other digital tokens were mixed. The world's largest crypto by market cap was trading at over 1% higher at just over $62,000. Bitcoin has declined from its all-time high last week after its debut on the first US Bitcoin futures exchange. The world's second most valuable crypto, Ether, has been touching its all-time high in price ahead of a major update from the underlying platform, Ethereum. Ether is currently worth an aggregate just shy of $500 billion. And Shiba Inu soared as well to record highs over the weekend to become the 11th biggest crypto by market cap. Back home, Australia's largest Bitcoin mine will be coming online in Byron Bay later this month, after the digital infrastructure company Mawson Infrastructure Group sealed a deal with renewable energy powerhouse Quinbrook Infrastructure Partners, setting the scene for a rollout of crypto mines across Australia. The mine is set to add around 0.4% exahash, which is a measure of computing horsepower, to the global crypto mining operations, and that'll be worth 100% powered by renewable energy generated at the Quinbrook site. Well, that's a wrap for today, but I hope you found the market closing commentary informative. We'll be back tomorrow live from Sydney at 9:30 a.m. in the morning with our first report on the pre-market scene. Take care and stay safe.